Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 207 of Kouryer podcast. Our today's guest is Miss Christina Lu. She's an illustrator and digital artist from Vancouver, Canada. And as of now, it's 11th of February, and there's news that where I live right now might an earthquake happen. So it would be interesting, story if during the podcast an earthquake happens live. I'll actually keep the recording on and let's see if my laptop doesn't get crushed or anything. That would be interesting. But yeah, let's see what happens. Hopefully, by the way, right now, I'm going to take this opportunity as well and say I will leave a link down in the description below. If you can donate anything to any of the organizations down in the description below for the people who have been suffered by the earthquakes in Turkey, that'd be really awesome. Even with $10 or 10 euros, that it might not be that much, but can buy a lot here. So it would be really helpful for them. And of course, by the way, before we start the signature question of the podcast, let me quickly mention that in the for contact section of the captions, which is right after the guest introduction, you can see the ID of our Instagram, the link to our website, Twitter, and YouTube channel as well. And with that being said, how are we doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. It's kind of sunny outside. It hasn't started raining yet. How are you?
All right. What is your first hate comment? I'm going to start the podcast with this. For context, for people who don't know, she made a tweet a while back that she got her first hate comment. But let's see, what was that?
So I posted a reel that was basically just a lot of pictures of the studies that I did throughout 6 months because I went on a 6-month hiatus. And so I was like, you know what? Let's just throw something out there. And that one went mini viral a little bit, or at least viral to my standards. And I got 2 or 3 comments that are like, you don't have to show everything on here. Some things are better left unshared, something. It's just okay, that's great. Positive energy. But yeah.
Interesting. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully you'll get less of those. And
yeah.
All right. For the people who don't know, give us a little introduction on how we got into the world of art and visual design. And yeah, basically how did your story start? That story of, oh, I want to become an artist,
When I was younger, so I have 2 brothers. One of them is 10 years older. The other one is 12 years older. And they loved video games, especially JRPGs. And so one of them played Zelda. Some of them played the Tales of series. They played Final Fantasy. And I would just watch them play. And I thought it was so pretty. I loved their outfits. I loved the world. And then, of course, growing up, I also loved Disney princesses. So it was just a lot of really delicate and flowy things. And then as I grew, I started really getting into romance manga and magical girl anime, and I was drawing on the side, and everything was just so beautiful. I just really wanted to copy my inspirations. And then, although I really liked drawing, I had so many different hobbies. So a lot of the times, I would draw, and then I would take a break, and then I would draw, and then take a break. And it kind of got to a point where I did so many different things, but I was a master of none of them. So in high school, I decided to pursue art a little more seriously. And then I went on Instagram, and that's when I saw all the different people with all their different skill sets. And I was super inspired, but also so discouraged. And at that time, I sort of just gave up, which is a terrible feeling. But a couple years back, I went back into art, and I have a much better mentality going into it. And I'm just slowly chipping away and grinding and trying to get to where I want to be.
All right. And by the way, you mentioned something before in the DMs with me that you're kind of actually studying business, right? Or
yes.
Law. Wait, sorry, you said law or business?
Business, yes.
All right. How did that happen?
So my brother actually went to art school, and I wanted to do something different than my brother. I didn't want to be in his shadow or anything. And so when the time came to apply to different schools, I really didn't know what to do. Although I really enjoyed art and I really loved it, I didn't want to pursue it as like post-secondary. So I kind of just threw my application like at different universities with slightly different majors for all of them. And I got into a university near where I live, into the business school. And I was like, okay, let's ride with it. And that's sort of how I got into business school. I'm in fourth year, and that was the
you're near
start of
the
it
end.
all. Yes, I am almost done. I'm so excited.
All right, that's awesome. And are you focusing on pursuing a career in art or business at the end? Or sorry, law. I keep messing this up. Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. I am still very open with how I want my career to be. Right now, I'm trying to learn UI UX as well. So I'm joining like a hackathon with 3 of my friends, and the deadline is like due in March. But then I'm also trying to draw my own manga right now, and it's in development. So I kind of want to make that a thing as well. I also want to do some illustration, but I major in marketing, so I wouldn't be opposed to working in marketing as well. It's just all the options are out there, and I'm just trying to see which one fits right.
No, that's great. You're experimenting in a lot of fields that you're interested in, and in a couple of years down the line, you're going to laser focus on one of them, and that's usually, I think, the best route for everyone, I guess. But yeah. I don't know about you, but a problem that I rarely see people like, it's not a common problem, but the thing is, for me, for example, the problem I'm talking about is I had it as well. I kind of have it as well a bit right now, is that you love everything. Like, you don't know which path to pursue because you love everything. You're paralyzed, It's kind of like paradox of choice in a sense, but it's not out of like boredom or anything. It's like it's kind of interesting because some people there are who, and I'm really jealous of them. They, for example, they're like, oh, I just like characters. I don't like anything else. That's really great. Like, for example, someone like, oh, I just like environments. I don't like anything else. They just vibe, for example, with something, and that. But for me, I can't vibe with anything. That's my problem.
I totally I understand how you feel. It's very hard to pick, but on the bright side, I think like trying different things, getting like a sense of one different skill set gives you insight into like other things as well. So I think it's like a pro and a con. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And all right, so what is the main branch of design you're focusing on when it comes to actual digital art? I mean, of course, you mentioned UI, UX, or experimenting with that, but given if you had like the opportunity to just pursue something in art like laser focus, what would you pick? Like, what field or discipline would you pick?
I love playing with color, and I would love to do something, maybe VizDev, or thinking about like how to set a mood. But I also, these days, I've been really working on my line work because I realized that some of my main inspirations came from manga when I was younger. So that's why I'm trying to draw my own manga. So if I can like publish something of my own, I would love to do that as well. And just like doing illustrations for maybe like book covers, that's something that I want to try as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And have you ever gotten a art commission yet?
I did some for friends. They're not open very frequently because I do have school and I'm trying to find jobs outside of school as well. So it's very like on and off.
Yeah, and here's an interesting thing I've noticed, especially on Twitter and Discord communities, that especially for character artists, once you've honed in on a certain aspect of fundamentals, whether it be color, rendering, or maybe composition, shape design, or anything, you kind of develop like a knack for it. Every artist has, of course, a different taste and take on things. And once you get good at that and you draw portraits your own style, in a sense, you develop your style a bit, that's when commissions could really flow in, because, a lot of people want their, OCs, or D&D characters, or, someone else to be drawn in that style. So yeah, because it's, in that sense, like, I guess, character art and portraits are way more marketable than other aspects, like, for example, environment art, and I think that's actually a really good strategy for anyone who's looking forward to setting up a system for themselves, like, as character artists, to later on monetize their art. So yeah, for anyone who likes art style you're seeing above us right now on YouTube, you can commission her. So yeah, her art is in the caption. So yeah, let's see.
You.
Yeah, no worries. And all right, so let's actually talk about an interesting topic, like about balancing, your time and a schedule, with art, of course, like, because our lives are hectic as hell these days. We're living in a capitalistic society and world today, so we have to always hustle and grind and sleepless and drink coffee and listening to Gary Vaynerchuk podcasts, and just pretend like we're being productive for something. But with everything that being said and done, this is, of course, a topic you also mentioned we should talk about, which I think is an interesting thing as well. How do you, manage your schedules and, your appointments and basically your even other skills you're pursuing, and just, yeah.
I love time blocking and trying to wake up slightly earlier than I really need to get, what I really want out of the way. So for example, I don't know about you, but when I'm trying to do something creative, I need a lot of alone time to focus, and I can't do that particularly at the end of the day after I'm drained from, for example, school or studying or work. I have to really prioritize that and sort of put it in the morning. And so even if it's only just 5 to 10 minutes, I love doing gesture drawing because it feels very low commitment. And if I keep it in a physical sketchbook, I can see the progress that I've made. And it's just so much more motivating for me to continue drawing and continue the pursuit of art. It's just yes, I did something today. And it really starts my day off right. And then I sort of just go about the rest of my day, just focusing on the different time blocks that I gave myself to really focus on whatever I'm doing at that time.
All right. And let's jump into the question that I think you've been baiting for a long time now. Who are some of your favorite artists and designers that have inspired you the most?
Yeah. So I really love Monet and JMW Turner. I love the way they sort of blend colors into their environments and really evoke a really pretty mood. So even Turner, his watercolor paintings, even if he only really uses a handful of colors, everything is so beautiful. And then there's also obviously Studio Ghibli. I feel like this is an answer that a lot of people say, but it's just the worlds that they build, the way that they drew it all by hand and was able to animate so many beautiful scenes is absolutely amazing to me. I think when I was younger, I watched Spirited Away 10 times in a week, probably on a mini DVD player, before laptops even existed. I just kept on repeating it back and forth. So there was that. But I've also brought some books that of some current artists that really inspire me. So there's the artist who drew Witch Hat Atelier. Her name is Kamome Shirahama, I think. But it's just, the art is so detailed. And it's so, the way she composes each page is absolutely beautiful. The paneling and also the art within, it's so nice. For whoever's listening to the podcast, I'm sorry, but I'm showing the pages.
Yes, for the sketchbook tours and the books, you can go to minute 14 on YouTube and check it out.
Yes. And then Kouryer, I think I love how the artist uses like more watercolor style. They also do a bit of comics as well, but I was more drawn to like their illustration. It's just the line work is really pretty. Recently, I've been quite inspired by really dainty art and really fine lines, which I think is not something that comes very naturally to me. So I've been studying a lot of these artists. There's also Illumi999. You can find them on like social media as well. But their backgrounds are so beautiful. And I love how they tell a story with the background and the characters. Let's try to find one. Like, this is absolutely insane. I love it so much. And then lastly, just Violet Evergarden. So this is an anime. They also made like a movie. And I heard that it's just really the main lead artist who designed all the characters and really took charge of the production. And I thought that was so nice. So here are like some of the concept art that goes into it. And I've been trying to use it as a reference for my designs as well, just like how much thought really goes into every single piece. Like even the coins are designed. So much work goes into animation and it's really admirable. So yeah.
So much work goes to good animation, not all animations, by the way.
Oh yeah. Yes.
Of course.
Yes.
All
You're
right.
absolutely
So
correct.
what are you working on right now that you can tell us about? I mean, of course, if there's NDAs involved, we can skip right past this question. But if that's not the case, what are you doing right now?
There's no NDAs involved. I can show you the manga that I'm trying to make. It is taking a very long time because I didn't realize how much work really went into creating like a comic book. So when I was doing it, like of course there's like the overall brainstorming, and then you have to think about who the characters are, what their motivations are, how they interact with other people, who is in conflict with one another. And you have to create a design for them, but also you have to think about where they are, how they're interacting with this environment, designing the environment itself, and also just the flow of the plot. And like in each panel, it's taking forever, but it's a really enjoyable process. And I currently, just yesterday, I finished the page. It's taking forever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
As everything good should.
Yes. This is like another page. I've only completed 3 pages so far, and this entire thing only has 46 pages planned. But just these 3 pages alone have taken me maybe three weeks to draw. But I started planning this story since I think November, October. It's a very slow process. I don't understand how like professional artists churn out so many high quality pages in such short little time. But I'm sure the more I do it, the more anyone does something, like they'll get so much faster at it.
Yeah. And what area beside the area you're working on right now, which is of course in that realm of art and digital art and stuff, would you be interested to explore and learn in the future? Like, I mean, of course, anything like besides art,
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
Aside from art, is there any other hobbies or skills or other stuff you want to pursue?
Oh, I think one that's super complementary to art is photography. I think I would recommend everyone to sort of take pictures of things that they find really beautiful in real life. It's a good way to train like the compositional eye, and also just to see like what colors do you enjoy. I don't know about you, but like when I go outside and I see something that I want to take a photo of, a lot of it is because of the shapes that light casts onto the object, and also just like the overall color and mood of like what is happening in that scene. So I love taking photos on that. And to touch on to that, like film photography is really fun for me because you don't have to really think too much about the post processing. A lot of the colors are already like in the film stock, and once you print it out or once you get the scan, the colors are already so pretty, and it just feels a lot more personal than maybe something that you can see immediately like that on the iPhone or on digital. So there's that. I also kind of want to get into crochet or knitting. I haven't done that yet, but I heard that it's very like therapeutic and is very meditative. You can kind of do it as you're doing other things. So I thought that might be fun. What other hobbies aside from drawing? Graphic design is like tangential to art. I think I'm not great at graphic design yet. I think there's a lot that I can improve upon. But if I am able to make shapes look good in a more simpler form, I'm sure that would translate a lot better into artwork as well. So I want to improve that.
All right. And what tips do you have for beginner artists who want to, start learning arts? Maybe like, to people who've looked at your stuff and thinking to themselves, all right, I want to start art. What tips or, words do you have for them? Sorry, did you hear? Did the voice came?
Some tips I have for beginners. I think, well, first you really need to love it. So if you're an absolute beginner, I think you should definitely just draw what you want and try to get into the habit of drawing. I think consistency is a little more important than maybe drawing really intensely for a week and then taking like a 2-year pause because you gave up. And although a lot of people say like focus on your fundamentals, which of course this is really important, if you're a beginner, I think it's just really important to sort of get your hand used to moving, because it's not just the knowledge that you have that makes good art. It's also sort of the way your hand moves and kind of like muscle memory in terms of how you're moving your hand on the page. So if you're absolutely new, again, just draw what you really enjoy. Try to copy from artists that you really enjoy if you're stuck. And honestly, you can draw anything. Like if you want to draw cute stuff, draw cute stuff. If you don't, then draw scary stuff or something. But once you progress, I do recommend learning some fundamentals. I recommend like Drawbox to learn how to draw things a little more in perspective. I think that will help with other things that you're drawing as well. Drawbox is like a free online resource that sort of teaches you the beginnings of like mark making and also just drawing boxes and perspectives and other objects and stuff.
All right. And well, here's an interesting segment of the podcast, which is actually the final segment and question of the podcast, which is called Time Capsule. I don't know, if you've listened to any of the podcast episodes before and it got spoiled for you, you already know what it is, but I'm still going to explain what it is. Basically, it's a time capsule. Imagine the answer you're going to give to this segment is going to be recorded and be put inside a time capsule alongside other answers. Basically, if you had this time, like basically what do you have to say to anyone who might listen to this podcast at any point of time in the future? Like it could be anyone, it could be about anything. It's just from you. It could be just anything from a human to another human being. What do you have to say for the generations in the future to listen to?
I think that in life, don't try to follow what other people consider successful, and don't live for other people. I suggest you look at what you really value. Take two of these things. So for example, for me, it's the two things that I really value are creativity and growth. Take these two values and make it the center of everything that you do. And as you grow, like reevaluate what your values are and make sure that they are aligned. So don't just pursue the thing that you think will make the most money. Don't do things because you feel like a social pressure to do it. Just really focus on what you care about and just check in with yourself a little more.
Just check in with yourself a little more. That's an interesting sentence.
Yeah.
All right, that's about it. Thanks so much for coming by. Where can people contact you if they had any questions or, Is Instagram okay?
Sorry. Sorry, I lagged. I couldn't hear you.
No worries. And where can people contact you if they had any questions?
Oh yeah, you can DM me on Instagram. There's also like an email section. I'm happy to chat about anything.
All right, awesome. Again, thank you so much for coming by, and thank you to anyone who tuned in to listen. And fortunately, no earthquake happened. Thank God. And stay safe. Try to donate if possible. And stay safe, everyone. Take care. Till next episode. Bye.